Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning. Still, we're not in the afternoon. It is 11:22. I'm going to call to order the regular board meeting for the Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue Board of Commissioners. With that, I would ask that Deputy Chief Kukulis, would you lead us in the salute to the flag, sir? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Deputy Chief. Appreciate it. All right. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Of course. Bob Lucy, Chair.
Here.
Alexis Hill.
Here.
Kitty Jung via phone.
Present.
Vaughn Hartung.
Here.
Jeannie Herman.
Here.
Fire Chief Charles Moore.
Here.
Deputy District Attorney Mary Canderas.
Here.
And I'm Jan Galasini, your your county clerk. Sir, you have a quorum.
I've been throwing everybody off with that chief thing. Don't
It's
worry.
all new.
You technically are the chief clerk, so. All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chief, we are on to item 3.
Mr. Chairman, item 3 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
All right. Madam Clerk, will you please call public comment?
Yes, sir. We have first up Mr. Kenneth Dalton.
Good morning, Mr. Dalton. Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
To the members of the Washoe County Commissioners, my name is Kenneth Dalton. I have been a resident of Washoe County for 38 years. I served as a firefighter with the Reno Fire Department for about 27 years. I want to thank you for this opportunity to communicate and educate you on our story. Established in 1996, Our Story, Inc. is a nonprofit 501c3 organization which strives to seek out, collect, preserve, and exhibit the contributions, heritage, and culture of people whose experiences are not well represented in Northern Nevada history. This nonprofit organization provides opportunity and information for students and scholars to study what is not normally offered in public or private school classrooms. The purpose of being here today is to briefly educate you on some of our story's accomplishments and its efforts to collect, preserve, and exhibit the contributions of African Americans in Northern Nevada. We have done several presentations to civic and state federal organizations, classrooms, conventions of national organizations in Reno. We have artifacts including 200 volumes of literature, tapes from the NAACP Today Show, memorabilia of local civil rights activist Bertha Woodard. 3 publications, a coloring book, also volumes 1 and 2 of 300 plus facts of contributions African Americans have made in Northern Nevada, with the 3rd volume being printed as I speak. Community events. Example, we did a movie premiere in association with the Nevada Guard. We had 3 original Tuskegee Airmen here for the screening. We've done legislative exhibits since 2012 session down in Carson City. Why Black Springs? Why not? Historically significant site, first African-American fire chief in the state of Nevada, pride in the community, collaboration between Washoe County and Our Story. We are asking Washoe County to provide us the opportunity to convert the Black Springs Volunteer Fire Department into an African-American museum through which the public, the arts, and the educational institutes would have the ability to access and become educated on the role and the history of African Americans in Northern Nevada. I know I missed something, but I was trying to get that 3 minutes in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton.
Next up, we have Mr. Thomas Daly.
Welcome, Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Thomas Daly for the record. My comments today relate to agenda item 8A4, the retirement of Battalion Chief Michael Heika, but as I understand it, there will be no public comment on that agenda item, so I will make my comments today. Now, on behalf of the estates at Mount Rose Homeowners Association, I want to express our gratitude to Battalion Chief Mike Heika for his long service to our community. Whenever we experienced a fire, Mike always seemed to be on duty and always responded. Chief Heika was instrumental in the evaluation, planning, and execution of 7 fuel reduction projects in our community, spanning 11 years, the latest of which just completed a year ago. Our homes are safer than ever from the threat of wildfire, thanks to Mike's talents and ingenuity. There's no more extraordinary a public servant than Chief Heika. Thank you, Chief, and Godspeed.
I have nobody else signed in.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right. Chief, we will close public comment, bring it back to the board. We are on to item 4, sir.
Mr. Chairman, item 4 is Commissioners, Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
All right, signed in. Chief, do you have anything for us this morning, right out the gate?
No, sir.
All right. Commissioner Hartung, I'll go to Hartung first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, can staff work backwards with Mr. Dalton and try to understand what the desires are with the Black Springs Fire Department or the building, I'm assuming? I was not aware that we still had that building. So I'm interested. I lived out there for years. I know where it is, but I haven't been near it in a very long time. And I think that if possible, just trying to understand what the request is, and I think that would be a very noble and honorable thing to have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Hartung. Commissioner Herman.
I want to thank Mr. Dalton for coming today and bring us up to date on what they would like to do. And the fire station, just like Commissioner Hartung was saying, there's a building there, and they would like to very much take possession of it and use it for a museum. So I'm in very good, complete support of that. If it's, within the ability of the fire department to do that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill, I have you assigned in next.
I was also going to say that I hope staff could work with Kenneth Dalton. Our Story is an incredible organization, and I think it'd be amazing if we could do some sort of coordination with them. So I'd love to hear that, what can come of the discussion.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Jung, do you have anything this morning?
No, I don't, but I will echo what the other commissioners have said. Black Springs has a great history and deep community of for many decades of African American activism, and is considered very sacred to many of the leaders in the African American community, especially the NAACP. And I think more now than ever, these are the type of things we must do as leaders to ensure that people are treated justly, equally, and honored as equally as everybody else in what I call the family that is the United States. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jung. Do appreciate that. Mr. Dalton, thank you for coming today. Do appreciate you and all of you participating today. I have to say, I'm not very educated on the Black Springs Volunteer Station, but I will find myself educated very quickly. I do agree with the remainder of our board that we will get an agenda item and get with the chief and get something in front of us for that discussion, and hopefully move forward with the process with our story and move that along. It sounds like a wonderful addition to our community for many, many of those individuals. And as a lifelong resident and a fifth generation Nevadan and a Native American, I understand heritage and how important it is, and how and that story continues to educate our future generations. So thank you for coming today. I do appreciate that. Chief, I was at a forum last night with residents in District 2 up in the Galena area, and participated in a discussion. One of the topics that did come up is how are we evaluating our open burn in deciding, I know a lot of that's based upon weather and moisture and whatnot. How does those evaluations come? When do they come? Are you making that final evaluation? Is it Chief Kuklos? How does that come down? Can we get a little bit of an update? Obviously, as we continue through the winter, we have, I know I was driving up Mount Rose Highway yesterday and saw quite a bit of smoke coming off of the area from where the Rock Farm Road fire was, which gave a little pause for concern, but there we had open burning yesterday. And so how do we control that? What's the size of that? And obviously just probably a little bit of an education for all the commissioners would be beneficial probably at our next meeting in regards to permitting, how people can go ahead and get that and continue to do that and do that safely, so we can monitor that. So definitely would like to have that being brought back. And then I'd like to get an update where we are on the additional stations. I know it's in the agenda that you're probably going to give us an update on your child fire. I didn't see it, but I wanted to see if we could get an update on where we are with the stations in Washoe Valley, the consolidation, and then also the what's going on with the sale in the Hidden Valley station, and kind of where we're at with that, just for an update for the commission. And then finally, a couple weeks ago, we were driving down to Carson City, and Chief Moore, our chief, who travels and lives down in the southern part of our valley, was on his way home, and I want to acknowledge this. There was an accident on 395, I-580 South. Chief was the first on scene. Chief was able to help save some of the victims within the accident. He was there to stabilize people until Carson could arrive, because it truly was in Carson's jurisdiction and NHP. And I got to tell you, it was a busy time of night. It was interesting. It's kind of that dusk twilight time when there was not a lot of vision out there. And there's Chief. I see him right out there in the middle and trying to make sure and doing things the right way. So Chief, congratulations. It helps me sleep better at night, not knowing that I don't have a bureaucrat sitting over there as a fire chief, but a true active fire chief that's always participating. So, I think the comments Mr. Daly made are absolutely right. We have some of the best staff and men and women that are definitely dedicated to their job, but it starts at the top. And when I can see a chief, and he didn't even know I was watching, I saw him jump out of a car, and I called him on his cell phone, and he gave me an update. He said, "But I gotta go. I gotta keep working." And he kept working until the other people were able to get on scene. So, Chief, thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. And always doing the right thing when people aren't watching. So, Chief, Commissioner Herman.
I forgot one thing when I was talking about Mr. Dalton, and I just wanted to thank him for his service as a firefighter. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no further comments from the commissioners or any announcements, we will bring it back to the board, and we are on to our consent agenda. Mr. Chief, Fire Chief.
Mr. Chairman, item 5 is consent items A, B, C, and D.
All right, commissioners, you have your consent agenda in your packet. Items 5A, B, C, and D are ready for, are there any discussion or comments or anything any of the commissioners wanted pulled for this agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Seeing none, Commissioner Hartung?
motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion to
Herman.
approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a second from Commissioner Herman. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Do we have any public comment? Seeing no public comment on our consent agenda, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Carries unanimously with all commissioners voting. All right, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, item 6 is a recommendation to accept and express heartfelt thanks for a personal donation of $500 from Commissioner Gene Herman in support of the district's ash can program. We're very, very thankful to receive your donation, Commissioner, and we understand that there was a recent fire from fireplace ash in your district. Currently, we're out of cans, so we're using your money to order more, and we intend to concentrate the cans that we buy for your constituents. Plus, order more so we can distribute them far and wide. And I do intend to bring the board back a summary of just how many cans we have distributed and where they've gone, and it's fairly impressive. They've gone throughout the county, not only just Washoe County citizens, but also Reno and Sparks.
Well, that's fantastic. Commissioner Herman, thank you so much. Is there anything, Commissioner Herman, you'd like to say in this, in addition to your donation? No? Okay. All right, Commissioner Herman, yes, Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I was reaching to push while you were getting ready to close. I'd like to just thank Commissioner Herman. I'm proud of the ash can program, and we sadly don't know how many houses or structures it potentially saves, but we know it works. And so I'm thankful that other commissioners have joined that effort. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner
Commissioner
Hartung. Appreciate that. I agree. I mean, we are a very unique county in the sense that Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District not only services very many urban areas and suburban areas of our county, but also there are many rural parts of our county that are served by Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District and Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue. And a lot of those homes, some of those older homes still have wood-burning fireplaces. A lot of people rely, especially in the winter months, on wood-burning stoves and whatnot. And Commissioner Herman does. I have one, and you know, they're beneficial. They're beneficial. But you know, if you don't dispose of those ashes properly, it goes from your problem to our problem very quickly. We want to thank Commissioner Herman for her continued support of that program and the program that we've put together here at Truckee Meadows Fire Protection and Rescue. Seeing no further, yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you bringing up the ashes, but I don't have a wood-burning stove. I have a gas stove, but what I use mine for is oily rags. And it's very effective at that, you know, especially in the summertime when I'm working on projects in the garage. It's very comforting to know that I can put them someplace that aren't going to spontaneously combust. So there are other uses for them. Thank you.
Great. All right. Seeing no further discussion on this item, I'm looking for a motion to accept. Is there public comment?
There's no public comment.
Seeing no public comment, I'm looking for a motion to accept this donation.
So moved.
I have a second. I have a motion by Commissioner Hartung. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries unanimously with all commissioners voting. Please affirm your votes on the screen. And motion carries 5-0. All right, Chief, this is, I got to kick it up. I feel like I'm downtrodden today. I got to kick it up. I got to bring the energy back up today. All right, so let's do this. We're on to item 7. This is our this is our local 2487 report. Do we have a member from 2487 here today?
I don't see them in the audience, and Ms. Francis, if they're on Zoom, would you let us know?
We don't have them on Zoom today. Well, we'll just have to give them a good old tongue lashing next time they're in town. All right, well, we'll move, Pat, we will take that item, and we'll move off that item, so we are out. Chief, we are on to item 8. This is your fire chief's report, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Item 8 is the fire chief's report, and item A, 1 is a proposal for bond financing for the purchase of 3663 Barron Way. I did outline a timetable for you in the chief's report. I believe Mr. John Peterson may be on Zoom. No, Sandy? All right. But nevertheless, it's important for the board to note that if this is going to move forward, that a 2/3 vote is required in the March meeting for a supermajority if we're going to be able to issue bonds going forward. So the timetable is rather lengthy. It would not be concluded until sometime in June. And our intent is to go ahead and purchase the building that we're now leasing for administration, for fleet maintenance, and for logistics. So when you run the numbers, and I'm not going to be very good at explaining this, but perhaps Ms. Vance can help. But when we are getting a premium through this bond financing such that we'll actually raise more than what we'll need to purchase the building, so we'll have a little bit of access, which we would like to be able to direct towards some training props and some improvements in the building. The cost of paying back the bond is going to be relatively equal to the cost of leasing over the years. So the lease will continue to escalate at 3%. So there'll be a point in time where they're both equal. But the building has been a great addition for us. We've got a lot more room than we previously had. We've consolidated all of our operations there, fleet, logistics, and admin, which previously were separated. So we have, I think, a very, very good building, which we'd like to make our permanent home. And Mr. Chairman, would you like me to take these one at a time, or I can go through all four?
Why don't you just go through all 4 of them, and we can go back and have any specific questions if we have on any of
All
them.
right, very good. Second is the Galena Creek Trail Burn, and Chief Eisenhagen will give you just a brief presentation on that. But there is a large number of logs and debris along the Galena Creek Trail, which I know that I have heard from some citizens that they'd sure like to get that removed. And the only way, really, because it's so far into the trail, is we're going to have to burn it. Or it's going to have to be burned, not we, as Truckee Meadows, will burn it. NDF has proposed to do the pile burning. So Chief Eisenhagen is going to review with you where and how much, and our process for oversight of NDF and how that's going to get done.
Chief Eisenhagen,
Good morning, can you hear me?
good to see you. First time we've actually seen you as a chief in front of us as division
This is
division
true.
chief.
So Chief August Eisenhagen, Division Chief, Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, for the record. I oversee the Wildland and Fuels Division for TM. I've been here for roughly 8 months. As Chief Moore alluded to, Nevada Division of Forestry approached us last month. They have a plan to burn some piles up in the Galena Creek area, and they're looking for our support and our buy-in in their process. Chief Moore obviously wanted to bring it to the rest of the board's attention, asked me to make this presentation, and so I'll dive in and take questions after. Okay, general description of the project overall. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's 2 units. This is a map in the top right. The first unit is 2 acres. It's the yellow outline polygon in the bottom left. The second unit is 34 acres, and it's the purple-pink outline polygon from the center of the map moving to the top right. Fuels on site are our standard conifer forest on the slopes, comprised of Jeffrey pine, ponderosa pine, and then in the riparian areas are normal willow, aspen, cottonwood. Both on the slopes and in the valley bottom, we have an understory of forbs, grasses, and brush, our typical sagebrush, rabbitbrush, bitterbrush, mahogany. They are looking at burning approximately 80 piles. They've already been cut and built. They were cut 2 years ago. Piles will only be allowed to be burnt immediately after high precip events. Quick narrative on the two types of burning. We have broadcast burning and we have pile burning. So broadcast burning is where we used sustained fire, continuous fire across the landscape to burn an entire area, right? It's the most cost effective because it requires less manpower. However, the prescription, and when I say prescription, those are the environmental conditions that allow them to burn or not to burn. In broadcast burning, the prescription is more specific and things have to be a little bit drier, right? Which is logical for the fire to continue through the fuel bed. Due to the fuel being wetter and not having as complete combustion, broadcast burning can have more issues for air quality due to particulate output. In contrast, pile burning, and this is what's being proposed for in the Galena area, it involves burning pre-cut and processed fuels that have been piled. It's less cost effective due to the manpower of piling the fuels before we burn them. However, it can be done in a wider range of weather conditions. And as outlined in here, we can burn when there's snow on the ground. Due to the higher heat concentration and drier fuels, we have less particulates put out into the atmosphere, so we have fewer smoke concerns. And since the fire is high intensity and condensed, and through that fuller combustion, it's easier to mop up and obtain complete extinguishment afterward. So specific to this burn plan, this is all done using the Behave computer modeling system, which models fire behavior. In order for them to meet their objectives, they won't burn if the winds are greater than 12 miles an hour on the site. The minimum mixing height is the height that the smoke column will go up before getting dispersed, and that ties into our air quality. That has to be at least 1,200 feet above ground level. Humidity has to be 15%. Temps have to be lower than 70 degrees. Our 1 hour fuel moisture. 1 hour fuels are dead fuels, 0 to 1/4 inch in diameter. So if you think of the pine needle bed on the forest floor, those are our 1 hour fuels. They have to have at least 15% fuel moisture, which is fairly high. 10 hour fuels are the same, but 1/4 inch to 1 inch in diameter. They need to be 10% or higher. The plan calls for either 2 inches of snow across 60% of the landscape, or 1/2 inch of rain has fallen in the last 48 hours before they burn. And to put that in contrast, Reno averages about 7 inches a year, so that's a substantial weather event. And again, this is all obtained through computer modeling. Complexity analysis in the burn plan. Essentially, they take all the different risk management elements that are associated with it. They weigh the likelihood of something happening and the severity if it does. And it goes into the computer system and it comes out with how they evaluate it. And this is pulled out of the burn plan. The risk is evaluated as low, and this is reviewed from people outside of Nevada Division of Forestry. So signing on the burn plan, there is an RXB2 is what we call them, a Prescribed Fire Burn Boss 2. That's the next level up. She's from the National Fish and Wildlife Service. Before the burn plan can be implemented, the State Fire Management Officer in NDF needs to sign off. The State Forester needs to sign off. And obviously, I also have reread the plan as well. They're looking at accomplishing this over 16 days. Their minimum on-site personnel is a Type 3 burn boss, a Type 2 wildland squad of 9 to 12 personnel. In addition to help with manpower and oversight, Truckee Meadows would like to have a burn boss on site of our own and one of our wildland engines. So our recommendations in the end, TMFR recommends supporting the Galena Prescribed Fire Burn Project with our contributions and assistance with oversight. This will reduce fuel loading and increase our firefighting effectiveness when, not if, the next wildland fire in the area occurs. We recommend a combination of treatments, chipping and processing material on site when possible, burning when not. Fuels management can't be achieved without all those tools in the toolbox. And all of this is because the costs of the eventual fire that will occur in there will outweigh the costs and risks associated with the burn up front. That's all I have. Open for questions.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, do you mind if we stop for questions on specifically on this item right now for the commission? Chief, as this is in District 2, and I have some great concern, obviously, with the Little Valley Fire. I see that your plan is robust, and you're working directly with the Division of Forestry, and Nevada Division of Forestry and the state. But my concern is, and we have experienced in the last 2 months, some very severe wind events up there that have come up pretty unexpectedly. Expectedly, but not to the severity in which we've experienced them up there. I have concerns that I obviously agree that we need to do the prescribed burns to make sure that we are working with the fuels management process. I wholeheartedly support that. I just don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we've turned over control to the state once again and find ourselves in a Little Valley situation. Because the homes in that area, that vicinity, in the Galena area, and also down through Montreux and Callahan Ranch would be immediately directly impacted, and the number of homes is in 10 times of what would be impacted with that through the Little Valley Fire. So I have concern, I understand the need, but this, I'm a little hesitant, obviously,
Okay.
because, and a little skeptical, and a lot of, as a number of the residents up there would be as well, understanding the need to do it, but we want to make sure that if we go forward with the prescribed burn, that I would like our staff to be as readily available to participate in that burn, because we weren't necessarily for the Little Valley, and I want to make sure if this is on our watch and in our neighborhood, that we're there.
Okay.
So if we have the staff, we should make the staff available.
Understood. And for the record, I also am cognizant of Little Valley, and I don't take this recommendation lightly. I live in Washoe Valley. My family, my parents were evacuated. I was on scene, so I don't make this lighthearted decision.
Right.
obviously.
I know you have personal ties, and I understand that this is a very serious issue, but we do experience those wind events in that neighborhood, and Mr. Daly in the audience would attest to those types of wind events that we get. They're very much different than they are in anywhere else in the valley.
Right.
60, 70 mile an hour winds and gusts that are very severe can occur quite rapidly coming down, especially through those gullies and into that area. So it can get very, very serious very quickly, so, especially in the winter. So with that, I have no other discussion. Commissioners, any other commissioner? Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I share the chair's trepidation. You mentioned 12 miles an hour.
Correct.
It's probably 12 miles an hour right now up there, even though it's dead still down in the valley. The chair and I toured the Little Valley devastation afterwards, and it demonstrates that these things can get out of hand very quickly. That said, I agree with the need to try to thin some of these areas out. In your plan, do you make all agencies aware that this is happening throughout the region, and or will you? And also, ready air resources in the event that, as our chairman has mentioned. I mean, we could get a wind event even when it was not forecast very quickly. And so I understand the need, but I also understand that we've got to be very cautious.
Understood.
And potentially maybe try to, I recognize what you said about the amount of moisture on the ground, so that does help out tremendously, but if it can be done in smaller bites where you're not trying to, I don't recall, it's 30-some acres or something like that was the total amount. Is it
80 individual piles
80 individual
Yeah.
piles, right,
over
okay.
16 days approximately.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe, and I don't know, I'm not in your business, so I have to take it from a different perspective. Maybe it's over a longer period of time. Maybe it's over a 2-month period of time where you're just doing, 2 or 3 piles at a time, as opposed to trying to tackle large numbers.
Understood?
Just, again, we're perhaps a little more reticent just because, and I appreciate your business. I know you guys know what you're doing, but, that said, if it gets out of hand, there's a lot at stake. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And can I have a second?
Go ahead,
to
go
clarify?
ahead.
Yeah.
Just for some clarification, I want to emphasize, this plan isn't ours. This
No,
isn't
no.
my plan. This
That's the part that really scares me.
I have read the plan, I approve of the plan, but this is NDF's plan and project. They're
Yes.
simply asking for our collaboration.
Again, that's the part that really scares me. So with all due respect to NDF,
And then in terms of your question with notification, yes, they notify all the local jurisdictions, Washoe County Air Quality, Truckee Meadows, City of Reno, all of that is part of the process before they begin.
All right.
But noted on the other elements, and I will relay to NDF.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Eisenhagen. Chief Moore.
Mr. Chairman, if it gives the board some comfort, the Little Valley Fire was a broadcast burn, which, burned quite a bit of acreage, as opposed to pile burns, which are localized. So we've had the U.S. Forest Service also do pile burns in the Little Valley area a few years ago. Steve Howell was in charge of those. I think many of you know Steve Howell. He's also looked at this burn plan. And I've insisted that we have veto authority over any ignition, and NDF has agreed to that. So with the fact that we have piles, which are much more safer than a broadcast burn, we have snow, and that we have the veto power, I'm fairly comfortable with this being managed safely.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chief. Like I said, I think Chief Eisenhagen, I know this is not your plan. I know you've done it, but you have reviewed this, 80 piles over 16 days, it's roughly 5 piles a day. With the proper staff and proper maintenance, it is, that is conducive to those types of pile burns, I'm okay with. But I do like the idea that, I'm glad you brought that up too, that we have the veto power of the burn if we so see fit. So I just like to have a little bit more of our assertion that we are in response to those pile burns and making sure that we feel comfortable with that too, because it will be our initial response that we'll have to if those piles get out of hand. So just want to make sure we're there.
Understood? Yep.
Chief Kuklos, you.
Just jumping in real quick, because I understand everyone's and for the record, Alex Kukoulas, Deputy Fire Chief. I just want to kind of throw in a couple more things for both the board and any public that's watching and concerned about this, because, I think all of us, when we first saw this, we all come back to Little Valley because it's probably the most notorious prescribed fire gone wrong in this area in quite some time. I was actually the IC on that fire for quite some time too. So it hits home with me, but I want to assure everybody there's some distinct differences, like the fire chief mentioned, but not only that, time of year is significantly different. Little Valley was middle of October, which I think we all know is really now still fire season in this area. Also to that, the remoteness of Little Valley, it took us 45 minutes to access that fire once it flared up. This is in a populated area where we can realistically reach it with hose lines and our fire engines and stations that are in near proximity. So there are some big distinctions. So I just want to give a little more comfort to everybody that's got a lot of reservations about
Good.
this.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. All right, any other discussion from any of the commissioners? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Chief Eisenhagen. We
Thank
do
you.
appreciate your part just coming and giving us that update this morning. Chief, we're on to item C.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 3 is the TMFR report to the community, which is in draft form. I apologize to give this to you cold, but I wanted to get it before you so that you would have some time to review it, to see if there is anything additional that you'd like to add into the report. And our intent is to take your comments individually back to me after you've had a chance to review this and let me know. We can either bring it back to the board for final approval in February, or if the board's comfortable, it can certainly take your comments individually and incorporate those into the report. Commissioner Jung, I would mention that this is on your email for you to look at. So we tried to detail a very crazy year, not only for this fire district, but for the entire community, and that we've been dealing with an extraordinary wildfire season the past season, as well as dealing with COVID, but still, we've been able to make some very extraordinary improvements to the fire district, and I'd like the public to know exactly what we did and what we've done to improve their service, and we keep marching the district forward. So I'll leave it at that. If you have immediate comments, I'd be glad to receive them. If not, then please let me know in the next few weeks, and if the board would like to look at the final product, I'll be glad to bring it back in February.
Great, thank you, Chief. Any comments from any of the commissioners in regards to the TMFR report for the community? Commissioner Hill?
I'm not sure if this is usual, but maybe adding just how we serve the community and some of the, just the, more of the community outreach. I know that it was during a pandemic year, but just hearing about these burn ash barrels, or just talking about how we're also doing those kind of services would probably help the community understand how important your work is as well, day to day.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Canderas.
Of not having deliberations on a non-action item, what I would request is that you just speak to the chief or send an email. Public can do that, and then we will bring a finalized version back next month for formal approval. I just want to be careful that we're not deliberating, because it's not an action item. So if you feel
that.
comfortable with
Yeah.
that, I think that might be the safer way
I appreciate
to
that, Ms.
go.
Canderas. You know, and I don't think we're not truly deliberating on it. I think these are just necessarily additions. I don't think what Mrs. Hill suggested was a deliberation, and so I feel it's comfortable, and I think we're well within our realm. So, and she can, if she feels necessary, to sit with Chief and add maybe specifics if she wants, and we can bring it back for a final, and we can deliberate then in regards to those additions. So,
Yes, and Mr. Chair, I agree with you. I just wanted to, like, maybe
perfect.
cut it out.
Nope,
first.
I
So I'm not
gotcha.
making a comment on Commissioner Hill's comment. Okay.
Totally
Thank
agree.
you.
Totally agree with you, and I appreciate you keeping a close eye on us and making sure that we're staying safe. So, seeing no other discussion in regards to the report. So, Chief, we're on to a very sad and not a wanted retirement or acknowledgement, but I mean, definitely a needed one. So, with that, Chief, I will turn it back over to you for item 4.
Very good. I'll step down to the podium with your permission, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Chief, do we have the option today of not accepting his retirement?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, Heike, you think you're going somewhere? You're crazy.
We're just
dude.
not, we're not going to accept it at this time. Maybe you can bring it back next year.
Somebody get some hair dye for him, and we'll just dye his hair and make him look young again.
Oh, it is bittersweet to congratulate Mike as well as wish him a long and happy retirement. I have to tell you that in a season like we had last summer, when the tones went off and get wildfire is burning towards this community or that community, and I hear Mike's voice on the radio, it takes my blood pressure down about 20 points. Mike is that good, and he's that knowledgeable, and he knows exactly what needs to be done, what resources need to be called, how to coordinate the aircraft, coordinate incoming engines. He's an absolute master at commanding a wildfire, as well as structure fires and everything else that happens in his very, very busy North Battalion. And Mike's going to be very, very difficult to replace. But he has been just a rock for this district, and I don't know how we replace him, but the guys have a lot to learn from Mike that are coming up underneath them. I hope I can bring back Mike to do a few classes here and then to teach the new battalion chiefs coming in. But mostly, I just want to let the board know what a great employee Mike has been, what an asset he's been for this community. And his 30 years of service have been exemplary. So, Mike, we're going to miss you. And we know that you're not going far. We hope you'll stay in touch. But we'd like to offer this to you as our appreciation and wish you the very best in retirement.
Thank you, Chief.
You got to talk.
Yeah, I will.
First of all, we're going to give you a big round of applause.
Well, thank you, Commissioners and Chief Moore. I'm Mike Heika, soon to be retired battalion chief. So it's been over 30 years I've been in the fire service, and I've just enjoyed every day. And Chief Moore's guidance has been just outstanding, and it's an outstanding department. And thanks to the commissioners for supporting us in all of our programs and making it a great place to work. So I wish everybody the best, and definitely going to miss the place.
Chief, I got to tell you, your name has been, as long as I've been served as a commissioner, been synonymous with Truckee Meadows. There's, Battalion Chief Heika is somewhere, and you are a cornerstone to this organization and have been so for many, many years. And you, please rest assured that you have educated, protected many citizens, many firefighters, maybe paramedics that have learned and followed underneath your guidance through the chief. And I can't tell you how thankful I am as a commissioner and a citizen of Washoe County, knowing that you kept watch for us many, many years. And we thank you, and we're going to miss you very dearly. So thank you for your service, and good luck on your retirement. Ms. Heika, you get him full time now. So, but it's well deserved and well earned. So thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. Any other comments from the commission? Commissioner Hartine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Chief, I want to thank you for your leadership, your guidance. You made these incidents not easier, but you helped to bring them under control. And people don't understand how top-down firefighting can be to understand what an incident commander really does and what it means to everyone who has done that in our organization. You've helped tremendously in our organization. I've known you now for 8 years. You've been tremendously proactive. I want to thank you. And Ms. Heika, it's a two-edged sword. Retirement and being around all the time. I hope you have something to, keep your attention, because you've been a really busy guy with us. There's just absolutely no question how many things you've had your hand in, and not all of them have been firefighting. It's just command in general. So thank you so much, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Go do something fun. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioners. That's, you can't do it by yourself. There's a lot of good firefighters out there at Truckee Meadows that make a battalion chief's job a lot easier. So that and the direction from the chief officers of the department, it's made everybody's job a lot easier, and it's been real enjoyable. So thank you.
Commissioner Herman, you have some comments?
I just want to thank you so much for your years of being an example. And I know there's a lot of guys coming up the line that have benefited from your wisdom and your experience. And I just want to thank you for that and wish you a very happy retirement and God's blessings.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. Commissioner Jung, do you have any comments, final comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say, most importantly, to Ms. Heika, thank you so much for how much work I know that we don't ever hear about that you have to do to hold down the family home and to keep Mr. Heike healthy, secure, and stable. I know it's a whole family event when it comes to fire service. And thank you, Mr. Heike, for your unflinching service to us, especially, as the chief said, in times of major emergencies. I don't know how we will fill in that subject matter expertise, but I'm hopeful that you have been training your replacement and are comfortable with that. And even if you're not, enjoy your retirement, because, sir, you don't have to worry about this anymore. And I'm sure that's a big relief for everybody who knows and loves you. So thank you, sir. And may you have many, many years of a beautiful retirement with you and your wife. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you, Chief.
I forgot to tell you an anecdote.
Okay.
So the Rock Farm fire, remember you and I were
Yeah.
talking on the phone, and you were pretty nervous, and
Oh, yeah.
so was I. But I specifically remember saying, Mr. Chairman, Heike is on it.
Just, I know. And my blood pressure comes down when you say those kinds of things. I get excited. I'm like, oh, geez. If I know that, I got you and Kuklas and Heike, I said, no, I got my dream team. I'm good. So you guys, like I said, there are many residents and many family members and many individuals within this county are very, very lucky to have had you serve us for the last 30 years, because I can't tell you how, like Commissioner Hartung said earlier, we can't really put a number on how many homes you've saved, but you've saved a hell of a lot of them. So congratulations on your retirement. We do enjoy you. We're going to miss you, and those are big shoes to fill. So enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Chief. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to, we didn't really have a chance to kind of talk about the bond financing, but I know Chief is going to bring that back for us after the debt commission, so we really won't have a discussion about that. We'll have a little bit more detailed next month after that goes in front of the debt commission, so that'll come back. So Chief, we do have our dashboard and items B and C. Is there anything else you'd like to add on those two items, or are they already prepared as in our binders as we need? All right.
There's questions.
All right, seeing no further discussion on those items, unless there's questions from the commissioners on any of those, I don't see any. We will close item 8, and we are on to item 9. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the interest of time, I'll just paraphrase the subject here, and what we intend to do is unfreeze the district support specialist, put in another fire captain and assign them to training, and create the positions necessary for the SAFER grant that we just received. So if there's questions to that, I'll have Chief Kuklas address them, but it's about as simple as that.
Pretty standard. This is stuff we've done before. Any discussion from any, or questions from any of the commissioners in regards to this item? Seeing no discussion, is there any public comment signed in on this?
There's no public comment.
Seeing no public comment, we'll bring it back to the board. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second from Commissioner Hill. Sorry, everybody. I think she's learning. We're getting her acclimated. She's trying to get the board, the iPad. So I got a motion from Commissioner Hartung, second from Commissioner Hill. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Please submit your votes on your tablet. We'll affirm your vote. Motion carries unanimously with all commissioners voting. All right, Chief, we're on to item 10. This is our final commissioners and chiefs announcements. Do you have anything?
No, sir.
All right, commissioners, do you have anything final? Any commissioners going once, twice, 3 times sold? All right, we are on to item 11. This is our final public comment, Chief.
Madam Clerk, is there any final public comment?
There is nobody signed in.
All right, seeing no final public comment, we will close public comment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.